really had to catch my breath there. Like I said, it's like being underwater. Good morning. Good morning, Redwoods. Find one another. Find one another. I believe that's what we're supposed to do. You know, after I've learned to say death by suicide instead of commit. When we say commit, we're referring to the fact that it's illegal. So you're committing a crime according to the law. That's a funny one. I'm sure it has to do with insurance, and I would just say to the insurance company, if you think that many people are going to take their life to collect on an insurance policy as soon as they, I think there's a 2-year provision. Anyway, back to find one another. We always say those who die by suicide we say, well, if I'd have known, or that's also what I've learned, is it destroys the, usually the parent because of blame and guilt. But if Robert would hear, he'd want to be laughing. He would want to be laughing. So, it's back to that thing. Everybody wants to laugh. Find one another. How do we find one another? Because loneliness is usually because of misunderstanding. Especially if it comes down to you have an individual that all they want and they're content with having their family. Like that makes them have joy. So especially because those people, they're not plugged in. This is somewhat of a social media. So how do we find one another? How do we find one another? Well, like I said, step one, get outside. I don't think you're going to find them sometimes they're in your house. There's definitely some 132 in your home right now. Somebody is listening. Hopefully it can reach some people. Even if it only reaches one, I'm reaching out a hand of understanding. All good things are wild and free. It'd be pretty cool for Henry David to come walking up through here. He probably would hear me talking from a distance and go around me. But I would try to talk to him. Maybe take a swim with him. He swam a lot, walked a lot. Sounds like a pretty good life. Swimming and walking. What do they call it in Japan? Forest bathing, nature bathing? I can't. If I have any Japanese people out there, let me know. Find one another. What you have to see. That's why I always ask you, what do you see here? Remember, sometimes you gotta get down and I guess when I don't get out much. I mean, like Henry David said, he came here where he was better known. And I know he meant he was understood, because he understood nature. Find one another. You hear my breathing? It's, like I said, 200% humidity. And I'm trying. It's a pretty spot here. I'm telling y'all, this first part of the day, getting that light, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And if you don't know, you need to try it. And in doing so, you might find one another. Little things add up, good and bad. Did you get outside? Maybe you only got to the store. How do we find one another? I guess you'd want to figure out how to emit some kind of... Everybody's so caught up in, and I guess I am too, but everybody's so caught up in the... We forget there's a brain and a soul in there. A brain and a soul. It's hidden. Sometimes about something we don't want to see. This for me, this for everyone. This message is a plea to find one another. Because if you can do that, I believe we would see that number start dropping, that 132. And I need to get the number for the entire world. Maybe somebody can help me out with that in the comments below. Find one another. Redwood's Redemption, August 1st, 2024. Got a new month. Find one another. Find one another. Redwood's Redemption. Find one another.